Welcome, everybody. I want to get this started right away. I know everybody's super busy, got things to do. So do I. There are a bunch of people that wanted to have a recording of this because they have different things going on, and I will make this available to be downloaded later. I'm doing this for a very specific reason. I have been working with my new company, Recruiting Boss, for about 7-8 months now, I think it is. And what I do is when I get an appointment or when I talk to people or when I research people, the number one thing I do is I look you up on social media. And I look to see, what are you doing? What do you look like? Where can I help you? And the post that I put out to get people to register for this, the tagline was, I researched 100 agents and 95 looked like they were going out of business. That was not a fake tagline. That was actually something I thought, because the amount of information that people were putting out on social media was just, it was terrible. And I think that there's a massive opportunity that's being missed. And I want to help at least the people in my environment and in my ecosystem to take advantage of what's happening out there, because it is massively changing. And it's massively changing with artificial intelligence, AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, all of these different things that are coming out. It's going to change. And that being said, that if you're not looking into or using AI, you are going to be behind the technology curve in such a massive way. ChatGPT is probably my default search engine at this point, because it can give me better information in a quicker time frame and things that are more accurate. And so I'm constantly on ChatGPT. I pay for the $20 a month version. There's a $200 a month version that can actually do a whole bunch of things for you, which I think is really cool. And we're actually exploring that with Recruiting Boss. Now, the thing I talked about in the beginning here is that the basic information, before we even get into the nuts and bolts of the training that I'm talking about here, I just want to go back to super basic stuff. The basic information, when people look you up, has to be easy to find. And that means, like, when somebody Googles you, when somebody searches for you, like, do you have your phone number out there? Because I searched, and I'm not, and I was going to pull up specific profile pages and give you examples, but I do not want to put anybody on blast. You know who you are. And the funny thing is that when I put the post on Facebook, I actually had people reaching out to me and said, I think you're talking about me. I wasn't, but that just goes to show you that there is some level of awareness of people that are not aware of how they're dropping the ball. But if you do not have like basic stuff on like your website, the website you want people to go to, your phone number, basic contact information on how people can connect with you, you and your brand. And we're going to talk about your brand and your message and all of that stuff as we go forward. But if you have a Twitter account, what does that look like? If you have a basic Facebook page, what does that look like? If you have a YouTube channel, what does that look like? And I'm going to tell you that all of these different channels should be a funnel that leads you to one place, not different things that take you to different places to do different things. Like, there's a level of focus that needs to happen here. And for everybody that doesn't know, back in the early 2000s, I ran a social media company, and I have learned a lot of this through trial and error, pain. I've committed a lot of these problems that I'm going to talk to you about, and I've learned from doing it wrong. I've learned from speaking to a lot of people. I've spoke on stage at social media events, national social media events. I've connected with Gary Vee and a bunch of people that have helped me and taught me a lot of things. And so I want to impart a lot of this information to you today. And I'm going to show you some things that I've never shown or taught anybody before, but I've learned over time. And I cajoled my wife to be on here, but because my wife, unbeknownst to her, she's connected with social media people as well, but she actually does a lot of what I'm talking about at a very high level. And so I'm not going to call her out on here because I did not tell her I would do that. But I would use her as an example. So if you go to like her social media stuff, you'll see a little bit of it on mine, but I do a lot of testing and a lot of different things. So I'm not as accurate as I would like to be. But the basics where we need to start is Facebook and social media for real estate and recruiting purposes. So I know my company is agnostic at this point to where I'm not all Keller Williams. I'm not all anything. We have Cell State on here. We have EXP on here. We have Keller Williams on here. We have a whole bunch of different people on here. So at the very basics, when it comes to your Facebook page, when you are trying to recruit somebody, if you're trying to get real estate business, in today's world, when people are reaching out to you and you're putting information out on social media and out into the world, like for Recruiting Boss, we'll do job ads for you, and that stuff will go out into the world. Well, a lot of times before somebody does something, they're going to search you.
Post job.
Hold on a second. Who's that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No
I'm
problem.
sorry. I thought I was on mute. Sorry, Frank. Hi.
No problem. No problem. So like when we post a job ad or we post something or you post something out there, people might get interested in what you're doing and Google you. Like, and they're going to search you online, either on one of the search engines, on ChatGPT or whatever. And you are able to control what shows up. But you have to go back to your basics, to your basic Facebook page. I cannot tell you. And right before this, I'm like, I wonder if there's this social media influencer. If I said his name, everybody know who he was. He's big in the real estate space. I'm like, this guy, I'm not a super big fan of him. And I searched him, and I was not shocked at what I did not find, which is like his social media was kind of a mess. And you don't want that to happen to you, because that is like your first impression. When people get their first impression of you, what do you want it to be? So I want you to think about that as we go through this. Now, I'm going to dive into some very detailed things. One of the rules about my trainings that I do when I open it up to live people is that I only want positivity. If you have a comment or if you have a support question when it comes to Recruiting Boss or anything, you can text me, or you can email me, frank@recruitingboss.com, and we can talk about that. But as we get into this, I want to get into this program, and if you have a question, you can drop it into the chat. And let's see, here we go here. So the really big part that I need everybody to understand is that social media is an opportunity. There's 2,700 billionaires on the planet, and they didn't get here by hiding. If I asked you, like, name me billionaires, I'd be surprised if you can name 10. But the thing is the people that are billionaires in whatever niche they're in, the people that are in that niche know who they are. And my question would be, does everybody in your local area or in your business know who you are? That, I think, is really important, because when you start searching, like, the real estate space is becoming so crowded right now that there are like in California, where I'm at, there are so many mom and pop companies that are, it's overwhelming. All right, hold on. I got somebody that wants to jump in here, is asking me to send them the link. All right, I think I just sent them the link. And I talk to real estate agents about this all the time, that attention is the new gold. Attention is what everybody is looking for. Attention and visibility equals currency. If you looked 20 years ago at the top 10 companies in the world, you would have oil companies, gold, silver, steel, energy. These would all be the big companies over 20 years ago. If you look now, it's all tech companies. It's Facebook, it's Tesla, it's Elon Musk, it's Google. These companies are working off of data. Data is the new gold, and attention is what everybody is after. It's awareness. Awareness is business 101 at this point. Like, people need to know who you are. They need to know what you're about. It is super important that you pay attention to that, because as I lead you down here, the attention part of it is only the first step. Because once you get somebody's attention, like, what is it on, like, people talk about you have less than 3 seconds now. And I remember when it was like, I used to have this conversation, I was like 5 or 10 seconds. Like, When you are making a cold call, you actually have more time to connect with somebody when you make a cold call than you do online these days. And you really, really have to focus and pay attention to that and understand that volume is key. It's not like you put out one post and you're good. No, that is not even like, if you put out one, if you're gonna, like, I'm only gonna put out one post today, you might as well not put out any post, because the chance of it being seen to have the result that you want is super, super low. Let me get my notes up going over here. Make sure I'm on track for everything that I need to do. One of the titles here, I said, you know, is that why nobody pays you, why nobody will pay you if they don't know you. And I cannot tell you how valuable that is. Businesses today don't go out of business because their product sucks. I think this is a really important thing to understand, is that people are buying crappy products every day. If you don't believe me, go to TikTok shop and find out how many products on there that are like for $20 that people are buying because it's easy and convenient, and TikTok can almost deliver it as fast as Amazon at this point. Jeff Bezos has made the process of buying something inexpensive and convenient, which are not the same thing. I have overpaid for something because I can get it delivered by 10 a.m. tomorrow. But businesses are not going out of business because their product sucks. And I mean, this is a perfect example, like Starbucks coffee. Sorry, Trace. My wife loves Starbucks coffee. Starbucks coffee is not the best coffee. I think universally we could probably agree on that. Starbucks would probably agree on that, but they are just, volume-wise, they are just very good at putting their product in front of more people than anybody else. And so they get more sales. So people are not going out of business because their product sucks. It's because they don't have enough attention. Now, I know we've probably all seen this on social media where people talk about reducing screen time. Like, oh, you know, I got to get my kids off of screen time, and I got to get them off of the computer. And I'm going to push back on you a little bit with this. Yes, when I was a kid, I did go out and play kickball. I did drink water from a hose. I did do all that stuff. I did skin my knee. But what I also did is, I don't know how many, I don't know what the age group is on this here, but when I was young in the 70s, I would sit in front of Saturday morning cartoons for a minimum of 6 hours and eat a copious amounts of cereal, Captain Crunch, Frosted Flakes, and like sugar high in front of the TV, very, very long. As time moves on, your attention changes. Like, it started like radio, TV, computer, and now it's your smartphone. Most people have multiple devices that they are looking at. And I would say, don't try to reduce your screen time. Make your screen time more productive. Like, what are you doing when you are looking at your screen? Like doom scrolling, people talk about doom scrolling. I don't think there's anything wrong with that as long as there's a purpose to it. Like, what is your goal when you are going through and you're scrolling? Is I mean, could you be doing something better? Could you be going to the gym? Like, focus on exactly what works instead of trying to reduce the screen time. Make your screen time more important and make it more purposeful. Because one of the things for me is how I get better in business is that I take a look around to see what everybody else is doing. What are the trends? What's more popular? What are people doing? Who's new on the horizon when it comes to certain things? And these things I learned help me up my game. And this is the other thing, is that you have to meet people where they're at. There's 350 million people, I think, in the United States and over 8 billion in the world. The way we all connect with each other is through online presence. So how are we going to connect with more people? My job with my company, Recruiting Boss, is that I have been able to expand throughout the United States, and I'm going into Canada. And now I'm like, well, you know, why am I going to limit myself? Why not Spain? Why not Mexico? Why not these other dense population areas? And in real estate, it's the same. My wife got on a panel for a Keller Williams family reunion because she helped sell international real estate multiple times in Spain. And that's because all of that connected us, and somebody connected with her online. And that's because if you try to find her online, it's very easy. So are you making it easy for people to find you? And I'll tell you right now, if what's the statistic? 70%, over 70% of all agents sold 0 houses last year. That still blows my mind. And the reason that happened is because most people are not showing up enough. How are you showing up? Where can people find you? That's really what you need to ask yourself, because with social media, and I'm just going to talk about Facebook. We're not going to get into like Instagram and so Instagram and Facebook, if you're a realtor or if you're a team leader, that's where you should be 100%. There's other conversations about TikTok, about YouTube, like we can have those conversations. But right now, I feel so many people's social media and online presence is broken that I need to at least get you on those 2 platforms, because that is where most of your business, your recruits and your real estate business, that's where that lies right now. And if you're not showing up enough on those 2 platforms, then you're literally leaving thousands of dollars on the table.
I know you tell me all the time how broken I am, Frank.
You know, I wasn't going to call anybody out, Sean, but hey, since you spoke up. So I've been researching this for a very long time. This part of it is that trust comes from showing up, right? Stories equal reality TV. Now, I love to talk about this part of it. Reality TV is perfect example, because let's look at the Kardashians. What do the Kardashians even do? Like, people are very interested in them, and people are voyeuristic at a core level. That's why social media takes off the way it is. But stories, a little 60-second video of you doing whatever you're doing, is like an insight behind the scenes to your world, to what you're doing, to how you're doing it. This creates trust, and it creates a connection to people. Reels is your growth engine. I've learned this over time, playing around, doing different things with Reels, and watching other people do different things with Reels, watching how other people grow with Reels, and trying to figure out what works, how it works, the taglines, all of these different things. If you want to grow, you're going to put out more Reels, and then the algorithm will do its job. People want to see you. And this is probably the most important part, and this is probably where a lot of people struggle, is they don't want to just see the polished version of you. They don't want to just see how amazing your life is. Social media is not to create a highlight reel, because there is a lot of that out there, and there's a lot of people out there that are just full of crap. And you are going to be more interesting when you connect with people, when you're real about what's going right and what's going wrong, if that makes sense. Now, this is probably where I have struggled, because at one point I was running a company, running a real estate office, leading a real estate. I had like 3 or 4 like businesses going on at one time. When that happens, that impacts consistency. And consistency is the secret key to winning when it comes to online presence. And this is the big thing that nobody really talks about, and I haven't heard a lot of people talking about it, is the algorithm doesn't trust what isn't consistent. So if you're not showing up every day, and if you're not consistently posting every day, or if your message that you're posting is like all over the map, one day it's this thing, one day it's this thing, and every day it's something different, and it's not consistent, the algorithm's not going to push you to where you need to be or get you. When people are like, oh my God, I'm shadow banned. It's like, no, you're not shadow banned. Your content sucks. And I've done that. I'm like, what's wrong with, like, nobody's watching my stuff? Well, because it was terrible. And so if I improve my content and I'm consistent with it, it's going to get better. And this is something, everybody knows who Mr. Beast is. This is what Mr. Beast is so good at, is that he obsesses over everything about YouTube. If you go back and you look at Mr. Beast's story, it's actually an incredible story. He has a channel that's worth over $1 billion, and he has, I don't even think he's been doing it for 20 years. And it's just because he obsesses over every video, every thumbnail, everything that in the video, he constantly tries to make it better. But when the algorithm doesn't trust you, that's the thing, is neither do people. And if you really think about it, like if you have a job, you have a 9 to 5, and you show up to work late every day at different times, how long are you going to keep that job? Not very long, because nobody wants somebody that's not consistent. If you go to do a job and your job is not consistent, like it's not consistently getting better, like if you're a team leader and you recruit one person one day and then 5 people the next month and then 0 people the month after, if you're not consistent, you're not going to have that job for very long. So you can't recruit if no one knows who you are. And you do that through being consistent with your behavior. And when you start posting and you're consistent online and you're showing the mission and the goal that you're looking for online social media, it's going to make recruiting and growing your team and selling real estate so much easier. But everything that I'm telling you about, it's hard. And it's so hard that there's companies out there that say, hey, I'll do this for you for a couple $100 a month. I'll do this for you for $50 a month. Trust me, I did that. The thing is that you have somebody that's inauthentic posting social media stuff for you that is not going to help you grow. The authenticity is what's going to help you grow. And so you have to actually put stuff out there that if you were looking to move to a real estate office and recruit, what would you want to see at another office? So I had one of my offices back east. I got on the phone with them. I'm like, hey, listen, your social media for your business page is terrible. Like, and I'm going to, and so if you looked at it, it would not initially look terrible. It would look fine from somebody that's at that office. Like you had birthday posts, you have training posts, you have all of these like, capper posts, you had, they just want an award post. That's fantastic for people in that office. But you're not supposed to post just for the people in the office. That's a small portion of it. You have to post for the people that are looking at you and looking for you, because your whole job as an office is to grow. And so when somebody's like, and this is the thing, when you're recruiting, most people don't come to you and say, oh, you know what, Sean, God, I really want to stay at the office, but I'm thinking about leaving. That never happens. They come to you and go, hey, I'm leaving. Or they don't tell you, or they send you an email and say, hey, I'm moving over to Compass, I just want to get my logins. So they always tell you after the fact. Because and what happens before that is that they become disgruntled, they become dismayed, they become swayed, something happens, and they start searching. And they pick an office that aligns with whatever they feel their goals are at the time. And so you want to be able to create a Facebook page to when somebody Googles and searches for you on Facebook or Instagram, what would you want that person to see? And I will tell you what's worked for me, what's worked for offices, is that I wanted people to see that when you looked at our stuff, everybody was having fun. Like everybody was having a really good time. And one of the things that I had a recruit say to me when I was recruiting, they were like, what are you doing over there? It looks like all you guys do is party. I was like, well, yeah, you should come join the party. Like we have fun and we sell a whole bunch of real estate too. Would you want to see what that looks like? Like you want something that in shows positivity, not just basic posts, because there's a company out there that works for real estate companies and they'll do these posts for you. And I know I remember they were trying to sell our office something one time, and it was just basically capper post, birthday post, new agent post, blah, blah, like all of this just really, really stuff that like nobody cares about. Nobody cares. They just keep scrolling. So people have to know who you are. And we know in real estate that people will work with you when they know you, like you, and trust you. And so the trust comes from getting to see who you really are, what's happening in the office. One of the things that I did is that the office that I worked for last is that we were above an Equinox. Well, I'm sorry, we were below an Equinox, and above the Equinox, above us was their pool. And I get a message in the morning that like the pool came through the office. And so to me, I was like, man, that really sucks. I hope everybody's stuff is okay, but content. This is great content. And so I went in, I was filming, I'm doing all these different things, and it created content, and it created the story aspect for reality TV that I'm talking about that actually got a ton of traction. Now, this is where we talk about the thing that I think is probably the hardest for me personally, and the hardest for almost everybody that's out there. And I can name people that are on this that are probably similar, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to call anybody out. It's focus, and it's consistency and focus. There are so many of us out there that are doing multiple things. And I would ask you, what do you want to be known for in what you're doing? And when you answer that question, what you're trying to do is you have to define your brand. Instead of doing 5 different things, how can you be amazing at one? If you read Gary Keller's book, The One Thing, is an amazing book. If you haven't read it, it's one of my top 5 books. You know, he talks about multitasking. And Gary Keller didn't come up with this. This is something that he studied and he found out about, and he put it in the book. But he found out that if multitasking, you're going to do a whole bunch of things, not very good. But if you focus on one thing, how good can you be at that one thing? So what does your brand stand for? And I'm gonna tell you how that worked for me, is that I had a real estate coaching program. I had a recruiting program. I ran a real estate office in West LA. I managed a real estate office in Bakersfield. I did all of the things. I had probably 5, and I was helping my wife with our real estate team. Let me just tell you, I was doing multitasking at a very high level, and nothing that I was doing was amazing. And then in September of last year, I said, you know what? I'm going to do something that is kind of crazy, and I'm going to literally quit everything that I'm doing. I'm going to quit it all, gave up 6-figure salary, gave up, and I focused 100% on Recruiting Boss. And I literally chopped my arm off and started doing Recruiting Boss, held my breath. I had no clue if it was going to be, how successful it was going to be, but I was under the gun to fill a 6-figure salary in 3 months. I did it. And the only reason I did it is because I took all the resources that I had going out to all of these other places, and I focused on one thing. Told my wife, I said, your real estate business is your real estate business. I will help you if you need it, but I'm done. I literally walked away from my team leader job, walked away from the OP job, walked away from the coaching thing, literally walked away from everything. And let me tell you, it was not easy, because I liked doing a lot of that stuff, even though it wasn't dollar productive and it didn't make me a lot of money. I walked away from a lot of that stuff, and I had to focus. And when I focused, magical things happened. I picked a lane. And so this is what I would say. For you, I would pick a lane. Like, if you're recruiting, then you recruit. What are you known for? Are you known for training? Are you known for recruiting? What are you known for? Pick something. And then this is going to help you with your posting. You post with a purpose, with the thing that you are really good at. I know there's a team leader that I know, he's not the best at recruiting. He's kind of mid. He's not horrible, but he's mid. But what he is good at, he's good at coaching. And so all of his posts are coaching. He gets a lot of traction from coaching, and that's what he does. So he picked a lane, he focused on that lane. So now somebody that wants to grow their business, they can say, wow, I actually get coaching at a high level from the guy that runs the company. So that part is really super important. It really just comes down to focus. And if you understand how focus works, the magnifying glass with the sun, like when you focus in on the sun and you start burning leaves and burning paper, like I used to do when I used to burn ants when I was a kid, so I don't want to talk about that. But that's what happens when you focus. When you don't focus and you pull it out and you start trying to do all the things at one time, it just doesn't work as well. I can't emphasize this enough. Let me see here. Chasing 2 rabbits, you get none. It's about the focus aspect of it. So I want to talk to you now about the influencer framework. I did not make this up. I've learned this over time, and I've watched other people teach it. I have mentors that have helped me, and I have coaches that have helped me. And I've used some of their stuff to put this together. So the influencer framework is very, very easy. So if you took a diamond, and at the top of diamond is your superpower. What is your superpower? We all have a superpower. You have to figure out what is your superpower. In the middle is either depth or it's shallow. If you don't define your 4 corners, it's going to be shallow. If you define your 4 corners, you're going to have a lot of depth. So what's your superpower and what's your kryptonite? Kryptonite is at the bottom, superpower is at the top. Chocolate peanut butter. I just created these chocolate chip cookies with my wife, and they're like, that's probably my kryptonite. They're amazing. But I mean, also there's other things, Kim. What's your kryptonite in business? Like some people, kryptonite could be focus. So like, what are you going to have to do to focus more? So figure out what your superpower is and figure out what your kryptonite is. When it comes to your story aspect of it, that's your behind the scenes. You want people to see what you are really like so they can connect with you. This is why YouTube is so valuable. YouTube is extremely valuable because just posting photos and just posting pictures of you that are not, like if you're not in the photos and you're just doing videos of things that are nondescript, that's not going to help people connect with you. YouTube is amazing because people get to see your mannerisms, how you talk. Like this video is probably going on our YouTube training for Recruiting Boss, and people get to see how I talk. People get to see how I act, how I coach. So when you get on a phone call with me, you're going to see how I talk to you. Like I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to pull any punches, and I'm not going to give you BS because that doesn't help either one of us. But at the end of the day, it connects you with another person because, I mean, have you ever saw somebody and then you met them and it's like, oh, that person's not what I expected, because you've never heard them talk, you've never interacted with them, you didn't know what their mannerisms are, but that's what the video does. So when you have behind the scenes as one of these corners, that's where you do your stories. You do your stories like we went to the winery this last weekend, and like I did stories about the winery, did a photo with my wife. I take pictures of my dogs. Like I did a video of me walking my dog the other day because my dog's helping me get my steps in, go to the gym. Like I'm going to connect with people that have dogs, that go to the gym, that, you know, oh my God, I've never been to that winery. That looks really cool. Like all of these little things that you do in the stories and behind the scenes is going to connect you with people. Now, when it comes to the mission and the movement, this is where the focus comes into play, because what's your mission and what's your movement? What are you trying to do? What is your goal in your business and in your life? Do you have something that you're passionate about? Like some people are passionate about dog rescue. Some people are passionate about helping the homeless. Like put that in there and elevate it at a high level. It's really, really important that you pay attention to things like that. So superpower. What do you do better than anyone else? Recruiting, training, selling, leading, motivating. One of the top influencers in the real estate space and social media, sucks as a real estate agent. His training is mid. I've never seen him recruit anybody, but he's a good leader and he's a good motivator. And that's what made him so popular. Hey, no hate towards that. He's utilizing his superpower at a super high level. So figure out what is yours. We all have one. We all have one. The kryptonite. This is where you have to be human, be relatable. What's your flaw and what's your struggle? So now I just put up, this is a snapshot of a post that I did when I went to a real estate conference. And when I'm sitting there at the real estate conference, I had all of these people coming up to me and talking to me because now, keep in mind, this is the first major conference I went to since I stepped out of my position and I started doing Recruiting Boss. And I was not sure if anybody would know who I was or if they'd even remember me. And the first conference I went to, when I launched it in the very, very beginning, I was still doing other things, but I didn't have any attention. Nobody even knew who Recruiting Boss was. Now, it was 5 months later. And so I'm sitting there after a bunch of people recognized me and after I got a couple of appointments and I made this post. And so what I did is that in the post, I kept it real. I talked about my journey and my struggle. I talked about, you know, how I wasn't sure like what I was doing or how it was going to turn out. And then I gave you the story. And I ended up getting 10 appointments from that post alone. And that's because I was human. I was relatable. I shared my struggles. I shared my flaws, and I shared information. I know a bunch of people on here. Let me see. A couple more people joined. I know a bunch of people on here, and I know a bunch of you have not shared anything. You don't share personal things about you because it's all business. But I'm telling you, if you can figure out a way to share personal things about yourself that connect with other people, it's going to blow up your business. And I'll give you an example is that there's people that have health concerns. If you go back and look at people who have health concerns and they post about it, they get a tremendous amount of love, a tremendous amount of caring, a tremendous amount of exposure about that. And that's because people care about other people. And people are not going to care about you if they don't know about you and they don't know what you're doing. The behind the scenes, show your personality, your home, your life, your hobbies, your bloopers. I mean, go to my wife's page. You'll see like there's a video that we did to where, you know, my wife was joking around about how she cleaned up the house and then she had me tied up with duct tape in the corner. And then she was having a great day. It was a great video. And it was us messing around. I mean, until the duct tape had to come off of my hairy arms. That was not fun. But it was a great video. And it's like those type of things make you real, make you personable, and connect you with other people. And the mission of the movement, like, why are you doing this? And I think, you know, I have seen some people change everything about what they're doing based on this one part of why are you doing this? Build a movement. When people are like, well, I don't know why I'm doing it. My goal is that I want to help everybody recruit and grow their business. I was doing that as a team leader, but I wasn't doing it at a level that I thought I could, I thought I was capable of so much more. And so I made a decision. I said, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? I'm helping these people build their business. And I'm not doing anything for myself. How do I help other people and help myself at the same time? And I literally, that's when I made the decision to walk away from being a team leader and do Recruiting Boss 100% is because my mission now is to help as many people grow their business as possible. And I'm starting to slowly build a movement around it. And there's a lot of amazing things coming with the company. But now I'm building a brand. I'm building my brand. And if you work for like EXP, or if you work for Real, or if you work for another company, you have the ability to build your brand. Even KW, like all of them, you can build your brand. You just have to realize that whatever company you work for, that company is not you. You have to build your brand and work for who you are, because at the end of the day, when you leave whatever company you're with, they're just going to move on. They're probably not going to come back after you. I've seen very few people follow up and try to get people back. That's a whole different training program. But you have to build your brand and create your movement for who you are and what you want to do. Now, the success path. This is, in my opinion, the absolute minimum of the things that you should probably be doing. Sharing 3 stories a day. Like, that is super easy to do. I have coached agents and I've coached team leaders. And for some people, they just have this, like, they just do not like social media. I get it. I get it. I get that some of you don't like social media. Some don't like putting your personal stuff on there. But you are this. So if you are the CEO of your office, if you are not the CEO of your office, you are the CEO of your business. So if you work for a cloud brokerage, like, you are the CEO of your personal business. So now, if you're not all over social media, my question would be why? If I put you in charge of Jamba Juice, and because Sean spoke up earlier, I'm just going to use Sean as an example. As I said, Sean, I'm going to make you the president of Jamba Juice. If I made you the president of Jamba Juice, would you use social media, or would you be like, nah, I'm not a big fan of social media, so the company is not going to use social media, right?
I mean, I think I would probably do what I've always done, but I think that's why I'm here, because I think that's a mistake.
Right, because the company is the company. Your company is your company. You are separate from that, but it would almost be criminal for you not to use social media for your company if you are the president and CEO of Jamba Juice or Starbucks. If you're the CEO of Starbucks, would you go in and say, listen, I don't use social media, so the company's not using social media. That's a mistake. Social media is the most powerful marketing program that's out there, and it's mostly free. Notice I'm not talking about you jumping on there and paying for things and buying ads and all that. You don't have to do that. My wife doesn't do that. She gets a ton of business from social media. And it's from connecting with her sphere of influence and putting out different events and different things that's out there, and people see her. She'll get business from people that have saw her on social media and been watching her for months on social media, and they'll just end up connecting with her. But if you are not using it for your business and showing stories of what's going on in your life and your business, then you're missing the boat. So 3 stories a day is minimum. I do more. I do way more. I probably do 5 to 10. And it's just because I'm like, when I think about it, I got to do it, because if I go, I don't want to do that, then I'm probably not going to do it, and it's going to suck. You share your setbacks, lessons, behind the scenes stuff. Like, what did you do good? What did you do right? What could you have done better? What did you do wrong before that you're doing right now that's having different results? Like, make up something that is happening with you in your life and share the setbacks. When you share a setback and you share a flaw, or you share an issue or a problem that you have, you become authentic and you become relatable, and people connect with you, because nobody's perfect, and that's going to help them trust you more. The work creates the worth. I think becoming a real estate agent, the reason most people, 70% of agents, have done 0 deals in the last month, and I think this year is going to be similar, is that we all know that real estate is hard, right? Real estate is difficult, but this is the problem. It's 10 times more difficult than you actually think it is. And that's where it messes up everybody. And I'll give you an example. And I can do for team leaders, owners of offices, or real estate business. I like to do real estate business. So in real estate business, you're like all excited. Like, you know somebody and you see commissions like 3% of $1 million, that's 30 grand. And like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And then you get into the business, and then they're like, you get into an office like, okay, who are you going to call first? And you're like, well, I'm not going to call people I know, because the people I know that I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm not going to call those people, because like, I've never sold a house and they know that. So I'm going to call people I don't know. And so you pick up the phone and you start cold calling. Let's say you call expired listings. You're going to call expired listings all day, and people are going to cuss you out and just blow you up, hang up on you. You're not going to get any leads. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to hang up. You're like, okay, well, that didn't work. That was not fun. I don't want to do that again. I'm going to go door knock. And you're going to go door knock. And then you door knock, and you door knock all day. It's either cold or it's either hot. It's raining, and you door knock like, say, 50 doors, which is mid. Should do 100. Just saying. 50 doors, nothing happens. Nobody answers their door. They all have Ring cameras. You're like, Ring cameras ruin the business. I don't want to do that anymore. And so now, like, you're, well, now this is hard. Like, you know it was going to be hard. But then you're like, you know what? This is only day 1. Come back the next day. It's the same. You come back the next day. It's the same. You come back the next day. It's the same. And the problem is that it's way, 10 times way harder than you thought it was. And then you go for this curve that goes up to where you're super excited, and then it slowly goes down, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm frustrated. I'm stressful. This is really super hard. And you get to the bottom, and you're like, oh, you know what I'm going to go do? I'm going to go do this other thing now. And then you go to do the other thing, and you start the loop again, because everything is way harder than we actually think it is. And you have to realize that the harder you work at it, the more consistent you work at it, you will be successful. But it's the consistency that people are unable to put in the real estate. It's the same thing with recruiting. Like, if you're going to start calling and try to recruit people, like, it's not going to work at first. It's going to be hard at first. Like you get recruiting boss leads. You're gonna call all these leads, and you, like, a bunch of them aren't going to work. A bunch of them aren't interested. A bunch of them don't have licenses. But if you keep doing it, it comes through. I have an office that got 4 cappers. I have an office that got a capper last week. Like, it happens. It's the consistency of the behavior that work. The work creates the worth. Now, what I call the monetizing trifecta is that, let me get down to my notes here. You have to show your work when you talk to people. When you get on social media, show your work. Don't show them how it's done. Don't show whatever you're talking about, whether it's recruiting agents and like your path is you're going to coach agents and help them. Show them how that works. So show part of your day. Show what you do. So if you're a top real estate agent, show the things that you do. Show that you're out doing an open house, that you're meeting with clients, that you're showing houses, like you're meeting with people. Show all of those things. That way, people are going to have trust for you. They'll have more respect for you. If you're recruiting and you spend your entire day in the office recruiting, do a speed up video of, like, this is just an idea, a video of your office, people coming in and out of the door, and you're recruiting all day. And do this speed up video of just like shows how much you're recruiting and then how many people you recruited and how that day looked. Show the behind the scenes of what you actually do. If you coach agents, do a coaching session of you coaching agents. Now, I fell into a trap because when I say show your work, show them the work, but don't show them how to do it. That's the secret sauce that you want them to invest in once they join you. And I had an agent that I had like 4 recruiting appointments with. And I'm like, she's an old school agent. She was amazing. And I was like, you can do this. You just haven't tapped into your sphere of influence. You've just been blasting all these different people that you know, but you haven't focused on your sphere of influence. I said, have a system for you. And so I kept telling her I knew she would do well if she focused. But for some reason, she just kept waffling. I had another officer who was trying to recruit with her. And then my OP came to me and said, well, show her how it's actually done. Not show the work, but show the details of how it's actually done. And I'm like, but that's what she's going to get when she joins us. If I give it to her, why would she join us? He was like, trust me. I said, fine. I messaged her. I said, hey, let's sit down and let's go through what it would actually look like. Bring your database. She shows up with a stack of papers like this, which was her database. I'm telling you, when I said she was old school, I wasn't joking. She had all of her database written down on these stacks of papers. And so I sat down with her and I basically mapped out on a whiteboard. I said, give me the objections you think you're going to get. And I said, give me the objections I think you're going to get, because she wasn't brave enough to reach out to the people to actually get objections yet. So we went through that. I gave her the details. I gave her everything. She went to another office. So that's how I learned that. She went to another office. She took my system and used it and went to another office. Happens. That's how you learn. So,
Frank, I have a question.
Yes.
How do you suggest getting your database? Like, I mean, there's a lot of people in my database that I don't find on social. Should I be asking them when I'm on the phone with them? Should I be manually just going through my list and trying to look them up? I mean, what do you suggest?
So the number one way is I'd call them and ask them specifically. So I would call them with a specific conversation to talk about that and not anything else. Yeah. So one of the things I learned when I lead generated for whatever I was trying to do is don't try to lump a bunch of conversations into one conversation. Call about one specific thing. This way, like if you're calling them to do your monthly follow-up, yes, monthly follow-up. You should talk to everybody every month. Don't call in about your monthly follow-up to say, hey, how's the family? How's the kids? How's this? How's that? Or whatever the last thing you talked about. And they go, oh, yeah, by the way, don't do that. You call me, do your monthly follow-up, and then you schedule a week later to call and say, hey, I was just going through my Facebook and I didn't see you on there. Are you on social media at all? And they may be like, no, I'm not. It's weird. Something happened. I don't want to be on there. That's fine. That is fine. Now you know the best way to contact them is through text message, and you can ask them like, well, you know, if I want to get a hold of you about something, like what's the best way to get a hold of you? Is it email? Is it phone call? Whatever. But I would have a specific conversation with them about that, because what it does is it gives you another touch with those people. And the magic formula for real estate is the more touches, the better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So teach without teaching. And that's what I'm talking about here. All this stuff that I'm showing you is show people, because when people see the things that you're doing and that you know how to do it, they're going to come back to you, and you're going to be the go-to for information. The secret agent vibes that I get from so many agents is so painful. It was like a mantra when I ran a real estate office. And I think most people, if you're running a real estate office, you would probably see this, is like, honestly, 70% of the agents are like, they're hiding and they're not doing the things. And so you have to stop. You have to stand from the rooftop and shout out what you're doing and how you're doing it. But this comes back to, I'm brand new. I haven't sold a lot of houses, and everybody I know knows that. First of all, I think it's 85%, 85, 86% of all sellers meet with one agent. They don't meet with the most experienced agent. They don't meet with the most popular agent. They don't meet with the smartest agent. They meet and list with the first agent. So that everybody's excuse for like, I've never sold a house, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm scared, blah, blah, throw that out the window, because that does not matter. It comes down to know, like, trust. How often are you talking to people? And if you can get in front of a seller first, 86%, I mean, I wish I had those odds in Vegas. Like 86% of the time, you're getting the deal. And the funny thing is that, like, if the more you talk to them, that percentage goes up. So like with use my wife as an example, is that I don't know of the last time she went on an appointment and didn't get it. Like, she gets, I'd say probably in the 90 percentile somewhere. That's how often that she gets her appointments. And that's because she reaches out, she talks to people, and she gets in front of them more than anybody else. She pounds her database more than anybody else I know. Invite engagement when you get on social media. Invite people to interact with you. Ask questions. People love to give advice. Ask a question. And that gets engagement. When you get engagement and you're consistent, that gets you in front of the other people. So when you ask a question and they comment on your thing and you like their stuff, you're going to start showing up more for those people in their feed, and you're not even going to know it. But if you like post randomly, like I could literally pick somebody from this list and go to your social media, and it's like, it's random when you post and how much you post. Sorry, I'm just looking at some of the comments here. It's really important that you're consistent with that and that you ask questions and jump into people's comments. Like so my number one thing is that, like, I will not talk about politics. Like, first of all, people are insane, and they're way insane right now with politics. It's crazy. And my political views are not left or right. They're kind of like all over the place, because I think there's problems with everybody. And so every now and then I'll jump into a political conversation because somebody posted something and then the person said something ridiculous. And so if you want to say something ridiculous, hey, I'm game, I'll play. I made a comment. I'm like, what about that post made you think that? Well, I set that thing on fire with just that comment. I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't say I agreed, I disagreed. I just made that little comment there, and then people like bam, 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 bam. And what that does is that created engagement, and it created consistency. So you want to be able to do things like that. Get people to raise their hand. Like, if you're struggling with X and you want some help, DM me. Tell a story. Telling stories is the most underrated activity that people don't even think about or do. And let me tell you how powerful stories are. I generated this entire Zoom today based on stories, things that happened to me. Like, all of this stuff is based on my journey from when I started social media to where I'm doing Recruiting Boss now, and all the things that have happened in between. You watch TV because they're stories. And the stories that are more popular are the real ones. One of the top podcasts in the world is true crime. A lady 10 years ago created a true crime podcast. I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's super crazy popular. Dateline, 2020. because it's a story and it's a true story and it's something that's crazy that people want to look at. So if you can get into telling stories about how certain things happen with you and with your business, it will only help your social media grow. Don't give away the blueprint, sell the outcome of whatever you're trying to do. And that's with agents. Like when I would recruit agents, I would say, hey, I would talk to an agent that hasn't made $100,000 a year. I'd be like, hey, do you want me to show you the path of how to get to 100 grand a year? And I would sell the outcome, not the blueprint. When they join me, I give them the blueprint. And this is the thing, you're the expert. Stop thinking you're not good enough. Stop thinking you're not smart enough. Stop thinking you are not as good as you think you should be. You are the expert. If you are leading a real estate team, even if it's just you, and if you're leading a real estate office, you are the expert. Someone felt that you are good enough to be in that position. So position yourself as the expert. I remember when I was told that, like, you're leading a team in an office. Your office is a team. It's a team. My team's doing 500 million in sales. Like, I'm in control of that. Like, I had to own that. So you should be able to own that as well. Make yourself the expert. So, in final message, social media is a way to get you in front of more people. If I can't feel you, I can't trust you. And this is something that I keep going back to my wife because she's very good at social media. She does a lot of things that are really good on social media, and people trust her because they understand her. She does a lot of behind the scene things. And you have to get people to feel what you're doing and how you're doing it. If you've ever watched a Super Bowl commercial where you've had Clydesdale horses make you cry, that's why they did that. It's because they evoked a feeling from you on a TV show. If you ever cried on a TV show, that's their whole thing. You're going to trust that brand because that brand made you feel something. You cracked a tear on a beer commercial. Think about that. It's crazy. Be vulnerable. You don't have to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. And once you get away from and this is the thing, the people that are out there that act like they're perfect, they're the ones that are furthest from being perfect. Show up for others. Show up for your team. Show up for your business. And share the mission that you have. Whatever that mission is, take your mission, all the craziness that you're doing, the 9 different things that you're doing, and focus it into one thing and share your mission. You are the brand. And if you try to give away, so there's a bunch of companies out there, I know 3, that you can pay them to do social media for you. In my opinion, and if you look at any of the major brands out there, who are doing something like that with a brand that's posting for them that's crushing, that's doing it at a high level, I can't even name one. You have to make it personal, and the way you make it personal is you do it yourself. And you need less than 30 minutes a day to do all of your social media stuff. And if you document and give away what you're doing as you're doing it, and everybody has something interesting that happens at least once a day. Everybody does. If you're like, well, that's not interesting, maybe to you it's not interesting. It's interesting to other people. If not, go watch the Kardashians. I don't know what they do, but they all have billion-dollar brands from just posting their lives on TV. So you have to post more. You have to put yourself out there more. You have to be vulnerable and tell people, like, I'm not comfortable doing this. Like, tell people that, because there's people out there that are not doing it that think the same thing. And if you want more business, if you want more real estate business, you have to get in front of more people. Real estate business is about exposure and attention, and so is recruiting. Selling real estate, recruiting real estate agents, no difference. It's the same thing. And the way you do more of both is you increase the exposure of how many people are seeing you and how many people know you, like you, and trust you. Any last questions before I jump out of here? I want to thank everybody for showing up. The recording for this will be available in the next couple of days, and I really appreciate the people that did show up.
Question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you offer, like you mentioned, coaching? Like, I mean, I think it's like I know a lot of what to do, and I do have those opportunities to share stories, to share the lessons, as you've laid out. But, having somebody to keep me accountable to it and actually nudge me during the day, or, because that's the thing, is I get so busy doing other things that it's just, this is not being a priority, is just not something that comes to top of mind. Any advice on how to make it a priority, how to, nudge myself? I know I can't take you along with me throughout the day, so.
That's a really good question. And so I'm going to use you as an example, because you actually, there's a lot of things about you that if you go to your social media, people will be confused about and they don't know about you. And so like one of those is that you were in the Air Force, right?
Right,
You don't post anything about that.
right.
You have a picture of a helicopter.
Yeah.
Did you fly helicopters in the Air Force?
I didn't, but I love aviation and I'm learning how to fly helicopters.
Nobody knows that.
Right.
So I would take all of these, and you and I, because we know each other, it's like I could pick probably 5 other things.
Right.
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 But the thing is that if you're struggling with like when and how, because what you have to do is you have to do it enough to get into a rhythm to where it's like, oh yeah, I have to do this now. Kind of like the same with working out. So what I would do is I would set alarms throughout the day. Set 3 alarms.
Yeah.
Somebody on here said post more about your kitty cat. Like you have a crazy cat, Sean. Like
I
nobody knows you
I
have
just
this
posted
cat.
about it literally right when we started this class. I posted about
Oh,
that.
so you're trying to save yourself now, because there's
Check it
no
out.
other
Look at
post
the
with your cat
timestamp.
on there at all.
Look at the timestamp.
But set an alarm to say do something social media, and use Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Like put in a whole bunch of stuff about Chat GPT and say I need to create more posts because Frank's mad at me, and like put in all of your stuff. Like I like to do this, I like to do that. This is about me. This is about me. Here's a hack for Chat GPT: is say I want to post more and be more personable and do more vulnerable things on social media. Ask me 20 questions that you can put together a social media strategy for me for the next week or something like
Yeah.
that. And then it's going to put together this strategy for you. And then you set an alarm 3 times a day on something you do. Do something with you and Karen. Do something with your cat. Something with aviation. Something, and we haven't even touched on your business yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Tracy, what do you got for me, Tracy?
I was gonna say set 1 day a week to bank a bunch of photos and videos. That's what you and I do.
Yeah.
We do that every 2 weeks. We'll look on social media and we'll bookmark ideas of what other people are doing, and we'll go to like a new housing tract
Right.
and we'll shoot 10 to 15 different videos and we'll just bank them. But I think once you start becoming more hyper aware, like, oh, wow, look at that really cool car. Or, oh, wow, look at me. I'm playing racquetball today and it's a beautiful day. Or look at my wife's smile. I'm going to take a photo of this and post it later. You become more hyper aware of the day-to-day stuff that you're doing. I think if you focus more on gathering data and gathering an envelope of content, it'll be a lot easier than thinking, oh, shoot, today I got to think of 3 things to post.
Right. That's good.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, and I think it's really important about the banking stuff. And if you see somebody doing something, don't be afraid to copy it, because the person that you're watching that's doing that probably copied it from somebody else. And if you copy it, it's not going to be the same.
Right.
So we like, I mean, I'm be straight up, like Tracy and I copy a lot of stuff. Like Tracy copies a lot of things, and you would never know it's copied because somebody else did it somewhere else, and you're not seeing that person's stuff. You're seeing our stuff. So
Yeah.
some people will see our stuff and think that that person copied our stuff when we actually copied. So it's this, and I'm going to tell you, this is why most people don't want to do social media, and this is why they don't post certain things. Is that we grow up in this environment where we don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to do something that's stupid. We don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to have that feeling. It's not even fear. It's a different type of fear. Nobody wants to be embarrassed. And so you have to get past that and realize that it doesn't matter, and that the people who make these judgments on you, they don't matter. And all that matters is you getting out there, because when you post something that you think might embarrass you, somebody's going to connect with you on that. And that could be your next deal or your next recruit.
Right.
So
Awesome. Well, thanks. This is all good stuff. Appreciate it.
well, I'm glad you liked it. I did it all for you. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is frank@recruitingboss.com. My phone number is 818-263-7265. I'm going to send out a survey after this is over, and I would love if everybody went to the Recruiting Boss YouTube channel and subscribed. I will send that out to you as well. But thank you, everybody, for being here, and I hope everybody has a fantastic day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Frank. That was awesome.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, Joyce.
Take care.